Good morning, everybody. This morning I will actually be in the book of 2 Corinthians. I didn't start out that way, but that's where I ended up as the week progressed. 2 Corinthians 10 is where we'll be. I came in yesterday's reading, and I was reading part of it, and then I had some of it playing when I was outside, and I came across a passage that was being vocalized, and I was like, hold on a minute, I'll go back and read that. I don't know if you ever have that happen. Sometimes it's different when you hear something and you go back. And this is what the passage says. It says, for though we live in the world, we do not wage war as the world does. The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds. We demolish arguments with every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. Okay, so here's what I want to talk about. Before we get into the heart of this, I do this thing when, and it's kind of, I think it kind of annoys my family sometimes, but yeah, so, no, we'll be watching a show or a movie or something on TV, and all of a sudden, someone's face or something will pop up, and I'll do this. Hey, I think I know that person from somewhere. Was this the person that was in like this show or that? And I can't remember the person's name, but they look like someone I've seen before. Like, oh, and it drives me crazy. Well, I have a phone that is connected to crazy amounts of knowledge, unknown amounts of knowledge. So I get on my phone and I start trying to figure out, who is this person? And there's a great website called the Internet Movie Database, IMDb, and I will go and I will type in whatever show I'm watching. I'll find that episode. I'll find the cast. I'll find that person. I'll click on them, and I just start going through to find out why I know this person because it's driving me crazy. I just got to know, oh, that's the guy that did this, and oh, that's the guy that did this. And I could just stop there, but I don't. Instead, I start looking at every show this person's been in because somewhere I'm gonna find something. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, what's this? And I click on it, and then it just sort of goes into this big rabbit hole. Yeah, and it just takes me all these places. And then it's 20 minutes later, and I have no idea what's going on in the show we're watching, and people got to catch me up. I think that's the part that bothers most people. And I will be honest, I don't remember the person I was looking up, but I ended up seeing, I went from one actor to another, and then eventually it ended up with Gene Wilder. And anyway, so I ended up looking at the cast of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and it was the guy that played Grandpa Joe. And Grandpa Joe started acting in the 30s. I don't know the guy's real name. He's just Grandpa Joe. And a show he did 2 episodes of in, I think it was between 1968 and 1970, was a TV show called Land of the Giants. Anybody? Oh, a few people? Oh, good. Okay. Because I had never heard of it before. And I was like, what is this? Because I like those kind of, almost look like a B movie, like a science fiction B movie when I saw the clip. So I played a little clip, and sure enough, it's about 7 people, I think, who I should have cut the synopsis out of IMDb, but I didn't. Basically, it's about 7 people, and they kind of they're on a spaceship, and something happens. They get through a time warp or something, and they end up on this planet where everything is 12 times larger than they are. But it's not weird stuff. It's like cats and plants and people, and just it's like Gulliver's Travels almost. And I thought the concept was neat. The actual thing I watched was that's not very believable. Special effects weren't what they were in 1968 as they are now. But it kind of makes me think, so what would happen? What would we do if everything was giant except for us? Because we kind of live in a land of giants. There are things that are larger than us that sort of stand between us and being in the place and the time that God wants us to be. I think that's a reasonable, it took me a while to get there, but I made it work. Um, and I mean, if you think about it, going all the way back, even the Old Testament, right? God sent his people, he sent Israel to a place called the Promised Land, right? It was a great place to live, but it was inhabited by giants. Okay. Right? And we live in a land of maybe more metaphorical giants, but we still live in a land where we have to face some things that seem insurmountable if we want to get to the place God wants us to be. And maybe some of us here are at a point where maybe the giants that we're facing aren't as large as the ones prior. So maybe for some of us, this is just like a fond memory. I remember when I had to do that, but I'm over it now. I hope so. Or maybe this is just, wave 4 coming at me. Right? Because I think that happens. And it's conflict for us. It's let's just call it what it is. And I the first couple times I heard this when I was kind of growing up, and then when I got more into college, the term spiritual warfare. Oh, that's a harsh sounding term, warfare. And that brings up, emotions. Or conflict. Conflict maybe softens it a little bit, right? But here's the thing. God never kind of glosses over the fact that his people, his children, will have conflict. He's pretty upfront about it. It's right out there, right? The Promised Land, there's going to be some conflict, right? And he even tells Joshua,